Hello, ladies. Welcome to the show. Before we get started, please introduce yourselves. Where are you located? And what is your occupation? So I'll start with Heart Goddess. Where are you located and what is your occupation?
Hello. So, hi everyone. I am actually located in Pennsylvania, but by way of Atlanta. So I just moved here from Atlanta. And as far as what I do, I am a shaman and spiritual life coach.
All right. Welcome, welcome. Mika.
Hello, everyone. I live in Lincoln, Nebraska, and I am a senior trade compliance manager.
Awesome. Welcome. Lenice.
Yeah, my name is Lenice Jones. I live in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I am originally from New Jersey. I am the author of um, Her Journey, Her Intimacy Journey, which is for African American, Black, and Indigenous women to learn what intimacy means for them, and the owner of Proactive Living Home Care Agency here in Pittsburgh.
Awesome. Welcome. And Maria.
Hi guys, my name is Maria. I'm located in Florida and I am a kindergarten teacher. This is my, I want to say 7th year teaching, and I'm also a USF grad student. I'm coming to get my master's for school counseling.
All right. All right, ladies. Sounds good. It's nice to meet you. So now we're just going to dive into the topics. Oprah Winfrey tears up, remembering how she blamed herself for struggling to lose weight.
Dreamed that we would be talking about medicines that are providing hope for people like me who have struggled for years with being overweight or with obesity. So I come to this conversation in the hope that we can start releasing the stigma and the shame and the judgment to stop shaming other people for being overweight or how they choose to lose or not lose weight. And more importantly, to stop shaming ourselves. I have to say that I took on the shame that the world gave to me. For 25 years, making fun of my weight was national sport. And I'll never forget a day in 1990. I saw myself on the cover of TV Guide's best and worst dressed list. And I remember thinking at first, oh, look, there I am on the cover. And then I read the headline that Mr. Blackwell, the tastemaker of the time, called me bumpy, lumpy, and downright dumpy. I was ridiculed on every late night talk show for 25 years, tabloid covers for 25 years. Here are just a few of the thousands of headlines written about me. Oprah, fatter than ever. Oprah hits 246 pounds. Final showdown with Stedman sends her into feeding frenzy. Oprah warned, diet or die. So in an effort to combat all the shame, I starved myself for nearly 5 months and then wheeled out that wagon of fat that the internet will never let me forget. And after losing 67 pounds on a liquid diet, the next day, y'all, the very next day, I started to gain it back.
The hour-long special featured several guests who shared their personal experiences with obesity and weight management, including Oprah, who teared up as she shared her own painful memories from over the years.
Have you released the shame for yourself completely?
Yes, there are so many people like me that if you had told me when I was a little girl that I would be sitting here talking about those noises in my head, I would have told you you were crazy. I'm not going to talk to anyone about that. And there's this whole world of us that get it. So that helps me reduce the shame.
You know what I get? This is what I got for the first time after I, took the medication. All these years, I thought all of the people who never had to diet were just using their willpower, and they were, for some reason, stronger than me. And now I realize, y'all wasn't even thinking about the food. It's not that you had the willpower, you weren't thinking about, you weren't obsessing about it. That is the big thing I learned.
Have you ever had struggles with your weight? Okay. Have you ever had struggles with your weight? And I will start with Heart Goddess.
Absolutely. So for me, my weight troubles were surrounding um, not being able to gain at all. So my entire life, I was very slender. And we focus a lot on shaming of bigger people, but not much on smaller people. And we don't realize that the struggle is very similar. And so, yeah, myself, I've struggled with it. And I absolutely feel and can relate to Oprah in so many ways on how that makes us feel like we have to do things that do not resonate or that are not moral. You know what I'm saying?
Thank you, Heart Goddess. Vika.
I can relate because I'm a heavy set Black woman, and my weight fluctuates up and down. And I tend to gain a lot of weight when I'm stressed or I'm overwhelmed or doing too much. I've been able to gain a lot of weight, birthing children. And I don't think what people, when they start to body shame or blame, they don't know the backstory of weight gain. Like, there's no way you can have, bless those who can have 3, 4 children that still look the same, So, people just think people are just eating, oh, they big because they eat a lot. It's like the stigma behind what makes you overweight. And then like I grew up on the south side of Chicago, and it was always, oh, there go that big girl, or there go big mama, or something. Like, it's always a term with the word big in front of it. And I was like, well, I just can't be Mika, So I do relate. And then sometimes, losing weight is not easy for everyone, and everything doesn't work for everybody. So I feel like there are options out there that you can use. And if that's the option you want to go through, that's a personal decision. So if you want to have surgery, that's your personal decision. If you want to take, in drugs or medication, that's your personal decision. So I just feel like it should be personal, and nothing in the world should be able to like put weight on that to discourage anyone.
Thank you, Mika. Lenice.
Yes. So I've had some of the same experiences, but it was reverse because I was small, I was short, I was thin for most of my life, and I had a issue with just basically being beautiful in the community I was in. I was always too small, or you can't wear that, or you don't have enough bottom for that, or you don't have enough top. And fortunately, I believe it comes from, our what Black women go through, especially. It's a little bit more rough. I say that because I've been on both sides, and they don't get treated for being too thin. They're not talked about for being too big. Oh, they've birthed the kids and they're okay. I'm talking about women of a different color. Oh, they birthed the kids, they're good to go. That's normal. So for that side, it's normal. But for this side, you're overweight and you need to this and you need to that. So yeah, it was reversed for me. And yeah, I think that self-love and self-worth, that sort of thing, it has to come from somewhere. But I think that's the bigger issue. I don't think it's the weight. I think it's listening to the people around us. But yes, for my issue, it was me being small and I was just scrambling around. That was my thing.
Thank you, Lenice. Maria.
Very hard. I do have 4 kids. I birthed 4 kids, and it's been rough. But I think, like Lenise says, it has to do a lot with what we hear people saying about us and how they make us feel. Basically, I do feel like, I mean, I know in my body that I don't feel okay. But then it makes it worse when I have somebody, or somebody else saying that you don't fit the part, or you don't look like you're supposed to look. Do you know, like, am I explaining myself? Like, I just feel like there's so much socially, like there's so many things that are very negative, I want to say, about overweight people and how we don't look right, how we're portrayed as like we don't look right, we don't look healthy. And so, yeah, I mean, and then it's hard because, as, like me, even being a woman, I like, I have so many things to do. I don't have time to take care of myself. And I think that's also where I go wrong most of the time. I have to make time for kids, time for my job, time for school. And where do I have time to take care of myself? And I think that's a major problem too, that I think we don't have, or at least I need to find a way to make time for myself. And I think that's a lot of women struggle with that. We feel like we have to, as a woman, we have to be responsible for the house, for the kids, cooking the meals, like doing everything. I mean, and I was brought up that way, as a Mexican. I was brought up, I was told all the time, women are to take care of the household, women are to take care of the children, women have to do this, women have, like, everything is laid on the women, that I just feel like I have to do it, and it's hard. It's hard breaking that cycle of not feeling like it's all on me.
Thank you, Maria. Thank you. You made some really good points. Thank you. All right, ladies. The second question is kind of like a question B, kind of. It's like a follow-up question, rather. Okay. Do you agree with people using weight loss medications to lose weight? Our goddess again.
Thank you. So for me, it's not a matter of agreeing or not agreeing. It's a matter of Big Pharma is trained to focus on the symptom and not the cause. And I think that is something we need to really begin to hone in on and focus on. It's our duty to fix ourselves, to find the root causes of these issues. Sometimes it is something that is medical. And obviously, you can't do too much about that if it is medical and there's something, whether it's thyroid issues or, there are so many other conditions that do cause people to have these dysfunctions. And that's completely understandable. And I think when those are the cases, then some of these things are case by case. But again, there are root causes that are not medical related a lot of the times. Sometimes it is, as my sister was mentioning, a lot of the times it has to do with us not being able to balance life. And that's tough. But there is a solution. And that's where we need to focus on.
Thank you, our goddess. Mika?
I honestly feel that it's a personal decision. If you agree to use drugs for weight loss, because everyone tries to do what they're capable of doing. And I would have to agree with the other young lady, like, I have 6 kids and I work and I run an inclusion network and I do other things in the community. I don't have time to go to a gym. It just ain't in the cards for me. I'm jealous of those who can plan their day and then go to the gym for 2 hours. I, at the end of the day, don't even have the energy to do so. So it's like you try to find alternatives. Well, if I can't go to the gym, I don't want to be overweight, but what else can I do? A lot of people are not fans of surgery, and, so there's another alternative. I just feel like a person should be able to choose the option and the direction that they want to go in. I just think when you're using these type of drugs that you do seek the proper type of medical attention to see if your body is capable of being able to take those drugs before just taking those drugs. So I just hope people would seek medical advice prior to. But as far as, I mean, if it was, I would go to the doctor tomorrow and ask for a prescription. I'm not even gonna lie, because I cannot just pick up and go to the gym or take a walk, for 2 hours on the day, because it's just not in the cards for me.
Thank you, Mika. Bernice?
Well, I would always say I don't believe in pharmaceutical medication at all. I do believe everything in moderation, that if it works for you, do it. But, manage what you're putting inside your body that comes from a lab. I say that because, like she said here, the healer said earlier, she was saying how, they are not giving you the diagnosis, they are treating the symptom. And I truly believe that. And depending on what kind of insurance you have, if all of us know, we know, it's to shut you up and it's to subside, but it's not to heal you. So I don't believe that anyone should be taking any type of pharmaceutical find time management, some type of something, only because we don't know what that is going to trigger. And sometimes with us being women of color and people of color, different things work and our bodies react differently to certain medications, but they won't tell us that. You know, they'll say, well, it works for everybody else, just give it to them. You know, and also, again, depending on what kind of insurance you have or what your income range is or what your zip code is, you may not be getting the top of the top notch of what that medication is. You may be getting a lower level or a lower grade. So I would always, you know, try to recommend or tell someone to take the holistic approach, get therapy first, get to the root, get to the bottom of what it could be and what it is, and what do you need. Is it management? Do you need better people around you? Are you stressed out? Are you depressed before you start taking a pill? Because what they're giving you it may be just to be making money off you, but it's not to heal or cure. It's just to calm you down for a minute. I've seen it with my eyes, so that would be my opinion.
Thank you, Lenise. Maria?
I agree with Lenise a lot, and now that she mentioned it, it's true. It's true, and I like her. I've lived it too. I remember, you know, being in a, you know, having issues going to the doctor, and when I was on Medicaid, I would get, you know, the cheapest of the cheapest medication, you know, things that, you know, and I feel like doctors don't pay attention to you as much. But then here I go again with Florida Blue now, and now all of a sudden, oh, there's so many more options and so many things you can do, and have you tried this, and you have to, and I feel it, and it's true, and it's really sad actually, but I do agree, and I really, you know, to me, and even the kids these days, my son will tell me, don't take any medication. You don't know what's indication, and it's true, you know. And when I was diagnosed with anxiety and depression and all this, it's just like it's covering everything up, and I don't, you know, I don't feel healed yet. I still have these issues. I still have these thoughts, and it's just like, how do we know for sure if they're even really trying to help us? And I've always felt this way. But yeah, I really think that maybe not taking the medication, maybe doing something different, informing yourself most importantly, and do what's right for your body and your mind. Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Maria. And thank you, ladies. We're actually going to move on to the next topic. Black women are 6 times more likely to be killed than white women, data reveals.
A story you will only see here on News 5. A disturbing report confirms what our investigators uncovered in our year-long series on domestic violence.
When women are murdered, the killer, more often than not, is their intimate partner. But that's not all the report revealed. From Your Side investigator Sarah Buttison is here to tell us tonight which women are most at risk.
Danita, the CDC report reviewed murders in 18 states over 18 years. It found black women are twice as likely to be murdered as women of other races. So we asked why.
He came in with the intention to kill me.
It was a cold October night,
But it all backfired.
when Sonia Garth's ex-husband showed up at her door.
When he shot me, she jumped up to save her mother.
So Rufus Gray turned his gun on his stepdaughter.
And he shot her.
The bullet struck 12-year-old Davia dead.
And all I can hear in my mind is that he shot me, Mommy.
It's very dangerous to leave an intimate partner violence relationship.
Victoria Grant is the Justice System advocate for the Domestic Violence and Child Advocacy Center.
That's the most dangerous time. Your risk of becoming murdered increases by 75%.
But this new CDC study found one group of women are more at risk. Reviewing data from more than a dozen states, including Ohio, it found black women are murdered at twice the rate of white, Hispanic, and Asian women.
We just don't trust systems because systems have never worked in our favor.
So black domestic violence victims are less likely to seek counseling or call police, increasing the risk they'll be killed by their intimate partner.
It's just not a simple matter of leaving. I have to have a plan in place that will allow me to leave safely without the risk of homicide.
When it happened to me, I didn't know about domestic violence agencies. I didn't know about shelters or people that you can talk to on the phone.
Sonia was abused for years before she kicked Gray to the curb. she had no idea leaving him could have lethal results.
We are forever destroyed. I can't pick the pieces up and say, okay, well, we're gonna move on, we're gonna do this. There's no pieces to pick up.
In your opinion, why do you think Black women are being murdered at higher rates than other women? And I will start with Heart Goddess.
So I think there are two reasons. The one reason, as mentioned, would be the lack of ability to get assistance and resources as a Black woman when we do need them. But the other one would be, honestly, the fact that our men are the most vulnerable to mental health issues. There's a lack of personal resources and medical assistance, and this leaves our men with no help and no outlet for this generational trauma and also lifetime trauma that they've endured.
All right, thank you, Heart Goddess. Nika?
I would have to agree with her. And then also I would have to just add to that loyalty. A lot of Black women are very loyal to Black men. The last thing they want them to see, like she said, the system and the clipping. You never want to see a Black man go to jail, so you don't want to call the police. So in the eyesight of the man, then the way he is treating you is okay, and because you refuse to call for help, and it's just because the system is not trustworthy in the Black community. So I've been in those situations before, and I've called the police, and all they did was take him home, and it was like, that's no punishment. It was just a free Uber ride that he's going to come right back. So it's like you can't trust the system, and then we be so loyal. So even if we do call the police, when it's time to go to court, you don't show up. So then he's back on the streets and back at your door doing the same thing. So I just would think once women get a zero tolerance policy in their mental to say, I don't accept any type of abuse, and I don't care at what cost. If you put your hands on me, I'm calling the police. Then, maybe the eyesight or the mental stability of Black men would change.
Thank you, Mika. Lanice?
Yes, I agree with the two beautiful women before me. I agree with them both. I believe it's a bit of it's not so much just the system, but the programming that the Black community has. Yes, I believe that Black men in particular, they do need more resources, and they do struggle with mental health issues on a level that may be different from any other race or demographic, or, and that's why personally, I don't date a man, I don't date anyone who is not into health and wellness. You don't go to therapy, that's that. I believe they say Black women are the most unprotected. Do I believe that's true or false? No. What I will say is when you look at the numbers, you have people who are looking for someone who they believe is unprotected. They're looking for someone who they feel nobody is watching. This person is probably unmarried. This person's father is not in the picture. So when you look at not only just domestic violence, but when people do break-ins and robberies, they're looking for someone they're assuming nobody is looking out for. So I believe we're dealing with a programming, especially in the United States, where people are like, if I need to go after someone, if I need to explode and let out my rage, they're thinking a Black woman is the first place, and that's where you should go, because nobody, and when you think about it, ladies, in our community, it's like, I didn't see nothing, I didn't hear nothing. I dealt with that, I didn't see it, I don't know anything, it didn't happen, and they're like, what, who could I hurt where everybody's going to turn a blind eye? It's the program, it's the system, and it's unfortunately how some places and areas are set up. And yes, Black men need more help, men in general, but we need more mental health places to reach out and go to get help.
Lanice, you have me over here amening. I got to keep myself muted because I'm agreeing with everything you're saying. And I've literally had so many similar thoughts to you. I would say this, the one thought, I always say this to my sister when I watch the news. I always say to her, I'm like, Black men are not allowed to have mental health issues. I say that on a regular basis. Also, something that really hit me that you said was that even when crimes do take place, in the criminals, they're busy scanning, like, okay, who's least likely to have support? Who's least likely to have a man in that house and who's least likely to have a gun looking at me or staring, or you know what I mean? Like, we're here. I get you. I had to mute myself because I was admitting. Oh, thank you. Maria, same question for you.
Stigma that men, they just they're not allowed to feel weakness. They're not allowed to express it either. And so I think, mental health awareness is very important for men. And maybe, if there was a solution to that, there wouldn't be so much of that. But I mean, yeah, it's a very hard topic.
Okay, thank you, ladies. So I have a follow-up question to that. In your opinion, what can be done to lower the rates of these incidents? Heart Goddess.
In order to lower the rates of these instances, we're going to go back to what Lanita was saying. We need to get support for our Black men. They need more resources and education foremost. We need to be educated on the importance. It's like we know it. We're on the cusp of it in this generation. I think the younger generation has a better idea of the importance of mental health. But now we need to start really honing in and focusing on it and making sure that our men are getting the help that they need.
Thank you. Nika?
I would have to agree, but first I think we will have to give the Black men comfortability to be vulnerable, because Black men in our society are so used to being so strong and don't want to show a sign of weakness and a sign that they need help. So before they can even seek help, they need to know that it's okay to ask for help. It's okay. It won't show a sign of weakness. It doesn't take your manhood away. So I think education on mental stability and therapy for our Black men, and just people getting in the community, letting them know that it's okay. And, your manhood is not at a challenge because you want to seek help. It just makes you a better person at the end of the day.
Thank you. Lenice?
I believe that the women, it's time for us to change first and teach our daughters. I say that because if there is no change, they need to stop having so much access to us in any way. And I teach my daughter these things. I say, if you blink wrong, if you flinch wrong, if his voice gets too loud. I even teach her this when I date. I let her know, why isn't anybody in the house ever, mommy? I said, no, they're there, but I'm just not bringing them inside of the home. I believe that because I've dated before in my personal life. And when I made it clear to him, it's okay for you to, let me know. It's okay to cry. Let me know if something's not right. I can get you help. Let's do whatever the case may be. And it seemed like I became the punching bag. I became the issue, like I was coddling him. And it was like, no, if you do this and you do that, I'm out. I'm gone. So what happens is, not only, I believe, change will come. Not only will I call the police eventually until you get put away. Now, do I have your back? I sure can, but not in a relationship with you. I'm going to have to be your friend. I may even have to be your freedom fighter, but we are not in a relationship and you are not in my bed. There have to be limits and boundaries. Baby, if I'm getting healing, you have to go too. If not, I'm gone. There is no just maybe. No, we both have to do it together. We get, sometimes Black men and us Black women of color, we think we have all these options when the road only leads to there's nothing down there but despair and hurt and pain. And we think, oh, eventually it'll be all right. It won't be, because we keep taking the easy way out, which is we do what we got to do, grown people business, and then it's okay. No, if you look at me wrong, your voice get a little too, I cannot move in my divine feminine. If you over here bugging out, we got to talk. So the standard, the boundaries have to be set. This is this, and baby, we're gonna go get healing together. That's my opinion.
Thank you, Lenice. Maria?
Yeah, I agree with Lanice again. It's also, it has to do with how we like to, how can I say it? We just take in so much and we try to like make it work, and we just let anything, like, I speak from experience. I like I need to set boundaries. I need to be able to say that's not okay. And basically not just give into anything, like I am learning now that I'm 30, and it's crazy to say that because I should know better by now, but I'm barely like getting there to where um I'm having that mindset where if I don't agree with something and I don't like the way you talk to me, then I shouldn't put up with it. And for me, that has been so hard because, like I said, I think it stems from how I was raised, how I was told that whatever the man says is okay and I have to go with it. And so yeah, I think being taking care of yourself first and having that mental health for yourself and then setting your limits, we got to start there.
All right. Thank you, Maria. And thank you, ladies. We're going to move on to the next topic. Black women and Latinas in Montgomery County face the largest pay gap in Maryland.
Pay Act passed in 1963. It made gender-based wage discrimination illegal. But more than 50 years later, women are still paid less than men. And the pandemic could be making the situation even worse. Michelle Miller explains.
Personal trainer and Cameroonian immigrant Simone Chuke knows the importance of working hard.
On average, I would do about 20 sessions, so about 5 to 8 sessions a day.
So when the pandemic hit, how did it impact your business?
It was really bad. We just kind of like scaled down to like nothing, so enough to like pay your rent and pay food, and that's it.
During this economic downturn, women have suffered more job losses than men, and women still in the workforce continue to face a grim reality. They also make less than men.
I know a couple of male trainers who have been training as much as I have been training, and I think we more or less have the same experience, and they are able to charge more per session. And it's always so weird, like, I don't know why, but as a woman, it's always so hard to kind of like impose my price.
In 2018, women earned about 82 cents for every dollar earned by men. For Black women, 62 cents, and for Latina women, just 54 cents. This is a driver of the wealth gap, which can mean a woman at retirement age accumulates about $1 million less than her male counterpart.
I think it has to do with a lot of antiquated gender norms and roles and expectations that we have around who is the primary breadwinner in families.
Nicole Mason is the president and CEO of the Institute for Women's Policy Research.
COVID-19 has hit women particularly hard. Why?
The sectors that were hardest hit by the pandemic were sectors where women were predominantly in our focus. So the service sector, education, health services, those sectors were hardest hit. And when you couple that with the pay gap and lack of savings, economic shock like the pandemic really hurts and cripples working women, especially lower wage women.
She says shutdowns across the country put working moms at a disadvantage.
There's no school, there's no daycare, and women are expected to do it all. They're expected to work 40 hours a week and still be the primary caregiver. And it's just an impossible situation for most women, especially women who don't have the option of working remotely or home.
In your opinion, why is the pay gap so different for women of color compared to the other racial groups? And I will start with you, Maria.
Oh, I want to know too. I think it's just the fact that we're women and we allow it. I mean, as like for me, I feel like it depends on how much you allow. I remember when I started as a teacher, I have to always voice my opinion, and I always have to be the one nagging for more pay, and it's like if I'm like I have to work. I've been working so hard, and I go over the top to get my work done and be recognized as doing my work. And it's like if I'm doing all of this, why are you not meeting my my pay? And it's just like I feel like now that I am where I am today. I mean, I'm not where I want to be. I still have a long way to go, but I feel like now I am more knowledgeable and to where I can say, well, I'm not gonna accept that. If I can do so much and I can do this much, then I'm gonna have to have you meet me there, or at least very close to it. And I think I'm at a spot now where, I am a good teacher. I can say I'm a good teacher. I have data that proves that. I can give you, the data to prove to you that I am worthy of set amount of money. So if you want me to do so and so, then I'm gonna need you to match what I bring to the table, sort of thing. So I think it's more of, us being able to speak, for ourselves, to speak up and say no, and this is not, and I'm not gonna allow it, and I'm not gonna take that. You either want me, to work here and do the best that I can be, or you're just gonna pay me the bare minimum, and I will act my wage, sort of thing.
Thank you, Maria. Yes. Minimum wage, minimum effort. I hear that. Lanice?
Yes, I agree with what she said. I agree. I don't know why. I think it's systemic. I think it has to do with your gender. It has to do with your color. It has to do with what zip code you come from. Sometimes it depends on who you know. And I've noticed with my situation in the workforce, because I didn't mind putting the work in. I didn't mind doing this, and that. My work and a little bit more, someone else's job. But I noticed I was still disrespected and disregarded and not protected when it came down to what other people would call the little things. It was big to me, whether I was being disrespected or harassed, so I couldn't tell you why. I think it's systemic. I think it's been going on for a very long time. And if you guys notice, there's a lot of women who are becoming entrepreneurs. And there's this whole thing going on with, oh, the women and the men, and they think they're too smart. They think they're too bold. No, they don't have a choice. The numbers, you're proving it right now. A lot of women we don't have a choice but to become entrepreneurs. Or we're going to be busting our backs. Our hands are going to hurt. Oh, I cracked it. My feet are going to hurt. My ankles are going to hurt. You know what I'm saying? And nobody's going to give a crap. And I'm going to keep making $12 to $9 an hour with no pension, no plan. So I don't know what the answer is, but it's been going on for a long time. And unfortunately, I think it's society's norms. So that's my opinion.
Thank you, Lanice. Mika?
Yes, it is definitely systemic. It happens because we allow it, and we allow it because we have to accept it, because we are in positions as mothers and breadwinners and caregivers to where we can't refuse a job. I've been in many managerial positions, and each one of them, I've earned each and every last one of them. I literally start from the bottom and had to work my way to the top when I've seen white women or white men walk in and get the manager job right off the bat. But no, even though I had the same qualifications and the same skills, we're going to start you lower because we want to see that you can earn it. Because as soon as they hear you a mother, that's going to take time away. As soon as they hear, oh, well, I got to pick up my children after school, that take time away, and they use it against you. They use your human rights as a parent and all of those things against you in the workforce. And that downplays you because at the end of the day, the women, they go to work, we have to worry about how the kids gonna get to school, how the kids gonna get home, what they're gonna eat. The men at work, they don't have to worry about that part because why? The women are taking care of it. Even though we're clocking in at 9, we probably have dropped off 2 to 3 kids prior to. And then when we get there at 9:05, there's a problem because I couldn't make it there at 8:50 because I have other responsibilities. So why is there a pay gap? Because we have to accept it in our community because we are, as Black women and Latinas organizations, nationalities, we do what we have to do to survive. So if I have to work 2 to 3 jobs to make sure my child has shoes on their feet, that's what we're going to do. So if I have to work 3 jobs with $10 an hour because you don't think I'm worthy and I know I am, then we just accept it and then we do what we have to do because we know how to survive. And I think they use our strength because they know that's what we are, strong against us to keep us from being strong in our community and in the world.
Thank you, Mika. Heart Goddess?
I agree. I agree, especially with Mika when it comes to acceptance and sacrifice. I think that unfortunately, we give our power away by saying that we have to accept it and that we have to sit with this sacrifice. We have the ability to make change. When we genuinely want something, we get it done and we have the ability to get it done. The thing about our counterparts or the white women, the Caucasian women, I'm sorry, they get it done. They won't sit there and allow you to pay them less. They will raise HE double hockey sticks each time, every time. We got the Karens, they raise HE double hockey sticks. That is our problem. We feel that we have to sit and accept the bare minimum when we never did. Everything that is done to us is only done to us because we allow it. And we have to take back our power.
Thank you, Heart Goddess. You literally touched on the next question I was actually going to ask, the follow-up. So I just mark it down like you answered. I'll ask the follow-up question right now. So, in your opinion, what can be done to close this pay gap? Heart Goddess already answered, so I'm going to go to Mika. In your opinion, what can be done to help close the pay gap?
We need to decline. If we go in and we go for a job and it's not suitable and it's not what we want, we need to walk away. We need to have our power to say, I'll pass. We need to be able to say no. And we need to be able to know our worth. And we need to stop downplaying our worthiness as Black women and Latino women. When they tell us, no, you get $10 an hour, no, I will pass because I'm worth more than that. Because I know where my education lies. I know where my skills lie. I know what I can bring you, and I'm not going to settle for anything less. So until we stand up and start to do that, then it will not be a change. We need to stop accepting that this is what we are and start showing them different. And we need to do that by speaking up.
Thank you, Mika. Lanice?
I agree. I agree with both the women, Miss Goddess and Nika. I agree. No means no. And what we were discussing before, as far as being passive, as far as being understanding, as far as I've been teaching my daughter about that lately, as far as looking at a real big smile and thinking that immediately that means that they're nice, that they're being generous, that they're being kind. And that's not always what it is. We do have to start saying no. And we have to set what we're looking for in the beginning, so that if this is not the job for me, if this is not the place for me, if I am not what you are looking for, from the beginning, not at the end, not when I show up for an interview. I'm looking for certain, this and that plus an hour. And this is what I need. These are the hours I need. These are the, in case it's the conditions of your workspace, whatever it is, this is what I need. Sometimes you got it sounds small, but sometimes you got to teach people how to love you, teach people how to treat you. That's in the home and out the home. I need you to know what I need so that I'm comfortable. Because yes, I do work hard. And yes, I do feel like they use that against us. And I've been working hard for a long time. And they use it. And they know we're going to get down there, we're going to scrub, we're going to get the floors clean, we're going to make sure the babies are fed at our house and their houses. They know we have big hearts. So yes, it starts by saying no, and I deserve better, and I can go somewhere else to get it.
Thank you, Louise. Maria?
Same thing, saying no, setting your boundaries, setting your limits. You can only take in so much. And when you have that, I mean, you will grow unhappy as well, working somewhere where you're not appreciated, where you're not valued. And, I say it because it happened to me. I was warned about not keeping my job or my job being at risk because I had to take my daughter to a psychologist. And that, to me, that's where I drew the line. And I did say, with all due respect, I care more about my child's mental health than this job. And, I didn't come back the following year. That's where I set my limits, my children. And just, saying no.
Thank you, ladies. So I just wanted to jump in here and kind of give my tidbit really quick, and I'll move on to the next thing. So some years back, I couldn't tell you how many years back, but I want to say a few years ago, I kept hearing people, whether it was media or on social media, I kept hearing people say women don't negotiate when it comes to, salaries. Do a counter offer. This is business. If you want me to give you my value, then I need to be worth my time. So I think women need to start negotiating, because a man will be quick to be like, oh no, I need X amount. No, they're gonna be like, no ma'am, no sir, I need X amount. So when I started going on interviews and they asked me, okay, so what rate would be good, or what salary would be good, and I would give them the rate, and I would not give them the bare minimum rate. Let's say for example, a job range was like for example, like maybe 40K to 60K. I would say, you know what, I think 50K is fair because I have experience. But since we're new to each other, I think 50 is fair because I have experience, but it also gives me room to grow. And usually when I would counter offer or give the rate that I wanted, they would say yes. I think women are scared to ask for more. That's my opinion, / that's pretty much what the data's saying. So I think it's that too, along with the good old racism and misogyny, but also sometimes women are not asking or counter offering. That's my point on that. I'm moving on. All right, ladies, thank you. We're going to move on to the next topic. An organization is helping mothers of color receive proper health care.
Nia King's first pregnancy in 2021 was traumatic.
Good job. Everything that could go wrong went wrong.
She went into labor early at just 24 weeks and had a serious infection.
Doctors kind of use the big words thinking you would know, but I didn't. It was my first time.
But the St. Louis native had support from a doula, Robin Lloyd.
Miss Robin would literally stop them like, hey, stop, let me talk to her. And she would tell me exactly what it meant.
Birthing doulas are trained non-clinical professionals who support clients through pregnancy, labor, delivery, and postpartum.
We all are going through the same thing.
The doulas offer one-on-one education.
No question is a dumb question.
And group courses for expectant and new moms. Kanaya credits Robin for helping her get through it all.
What are you feeling? I'm very grateful for her. I'm very grateful for her, because if she wasn't there, I don't know what would have happened.
Do you think you would be here and your kids would be here if you hadn't had a doula?
Not at all, no.
The American College of Obstetricians and Gynecologists finding doulas improved outcomes for women in labor. They're especially critical for Black women, who are 3 times more likely to die from a pregnancy-related cause than white women.
You're so cute.
Kanaya's doula, Robin, works with the nonprofit Parents as Teachers, motivated by her own life-threatening delivery. The nonprofit receives state funding, making it possible to provide doula services to families cost-free. Of the nearly 320 families they serve, many unhoused, 95% are people of color, and all of their doulas are Black women.
Why is it particularly important for women of color and Black women to have access to them?
Well, I think access is the key. So we wanted to make sure that we had Black doulas serving those families that resemble them.
Now, Kanaya is expecting a baby boy in just a few weeks, with Robin by her side.
I'm going to be there. You're going to have that support, and not to worry.
Do you think this doula program is a good idea? And I would start with you, Maria.
Definitely. I think so, because you have to have representation, and you have to feel comfortable. I don't know how many times whenever I had my kids, I felt so out of place. I feel, I mean, obviously I can't talk because I'm not Black, but being me, I even being in the hospital with, people that I don't connect with, that I don't feel like they know my body or my ways or my culture. I feel like I can't, you know what I mean? It feels uncomfortable. And then having somebody there by your side that knows you, knows your culture, knows, what you might need. I mean, yeah, it's a wonderful thing, I feel like.
Thank you. Lanice?
Yes. I feel like it's an amazing idea. I think it's needed. I think it's important to have somebody to fight for you and fight with you. If you do not have the father or the mother present, or, when I went into labor, it was just I was by myself. by myself. My daughter was not delivered by a doctor or a nurse. She could have been anybody, y'all. I don't know. I didn't get any epidural. I had a lot of things done. So it's good to have somebody educated, somebody who's been reading or researching with you what's going on, especially for African American and colored and indigenous women, because there's a lot of things that go on, even as far as the placenta, as you guys know. So we have no clue, and unfortunately, when you live in a society where people think that when you are of color, giving birth to you means, oh, they got 5 of them already. They already got like 10 babies, and which is not true. So I think it's important to have somebody educated in the know, fighting with you and fighting for you. It's a great idea.
Thank you, Louise. Nika?
Yes, and from experience, I've had 6 births and I've had 2 doulas. And I had to learn. I had 2 children. 4 of my children were born by Black doctors, and with 2 of them I had doulas, and the other 2 were born by a white male doctor. And the treatment with those Black doctors and that white male doctor was so different. With him, I was in and out. I gave birth at 6 a.m. I was discharged the next day at like 6 a.m. It was like 24 hours in and out. One of my son, I had my after labor pains at home. I called him and he was like, I'll send you some ibuprofen to the Walgreens. And then I end up getting an infection. And I'm like, wait, like he didn't care at all. He never followed up afterwards or anything. The next time I saw him was like my 2-week checkup. When I had my Black doctors, they stayed with me every day. They checked in. My doula was checking on me. So that taught me to always have a provider that looks like me. Because when you have a Black provider, a doula, or a doctor that looks like you, they can relate to you. And I have one now, and she is so keen on self-care. And like they said before in our previous segment, medication, she will go all around that, like, nope, we're going to try this first, we're going to try that first before we give you any medication. It's just when you have a doctor that can relate to you or that looks like you, whether you're Latino or Black, then the care is so much better and it's so different. So I agree with having a doula 100%.
Thank you, Nika. I appreciate that. Heart Goddess?
As the ladies were mentioning, representation and relatability are extremely important. I am all for it. The whole point of a doula is to help introduce a more holistic approach, right? One that is more so not centered around just the medical diagnosis and medical treatments and birthing process, but one that's to help guide through a more natural process. And I think we could all use that. I think that's very beneficial. So I think this program is super dope. I love the idea of giving access to this program or these types of programs to women of color.
All right, ladies, thank you so much. So we're just going to move on to the last topic, rather, and it's a very easy, fun one. Beyonce's Texas Holdem is in the top 10 on Billboard's radio songs chart. And the question on the floor is, do you like the new song? Extremely random, but I wanted to end it light. So again, the question is, do you like the new song? And I would start with you, Heart Goddess.
Of country music, actually. But I'm not the biggest fan of Beyonce's newer music. So it doesn't speak to me, but obviously she has such a huge fan base and she is extremely talented. That we cannot deny. And so whether or not I like it, I can't lie, not really, but my opinion doesn't matter. She's good at what she does. She knows how to get the job done. So it's well-deserved, if you ask me.
Thank you, Heart Goddess. Nika?
I would have to agree. I'm not a part of the Beehive, I guess. I like Beyonce. It just shows that no matter what industry a Black person could get in, they could dominate. So I take my hat off to her. I have not personally heard the song. I'm more of a old school type Beyonce fan than the new school Beyonce fan. So I'm gonna have to check it out now that we mentioned it. I should have listened to it before this, but I'll check it out. But all praises to her. She's doing her thing. No disrespect. Love it.
All right. Thank you, Nika. Lanice?
Well, I haven't heard the song all the way through. I like country music. I like Shy Boozy. I like Shy Boozy. All right. Um, he's my favorite country artist, my favorite African American country artist. I've heard little clips, little bits and pieces. It sounds cool. I haven't heard it all the way through to say that it's like amazing, but Beyonce is extremely talented. So I guess I have to look it up and see what's going on. It hasn't caught my eye or my ear yet, but I hope it's good.
Okay. Thank you, Lenise. And Maria.
Yeah, I've heard it. It's all over TikTok. You know, it's very famous, but I'm not a fan of Beyonce. So I don't really, I'm so relieved like most of you are not either, because I was gonna feel so bad if I wasn't. But no, I've never been a fan of Beyonce. I'm sorry. I don't like the song, and I don't know. I'm just not into her.
Okay. Well, I'll answer really quick. Honestly, I heard the first 60 seconds of it because it was trending, so I looked into it. And honestly, I'm not a part of the Beehive. However, I do like some of her music. I'm just gonna be honest. I don't like the song. I really tried. I listened to it like 3 times in a row. The first 60 seconds. I don't like the song. I feel like it's unrelatable. I feel like she's just singing lyrics. It has no connection to her. Secondly, honestly, the video, I just don't like the video. I feel like, I'm sorry, I'm gonna get canceled for this. That's fine. They'll drag me on the internet. That's fine. But I just feel like at a certain point, as a mother, especially when you're 40 plus, why are you walking around with your boobs out as a mother and a wife? I'm sorry. Even if I know you, I'm like, we all know Beyonce has a beautiful body. We know, but I'm like, Mama, why are you naked? Like, you know what I mean? I didn't like the song. I feel like she's better than that to be naked at like damn near naked at like over 40. I'm sorry. That's why I know I'm gonna get canceled. The Beehive's gonna come for me. All right, ladies, that was it. I enjoyed speaking with you, ladies. I look forward to meeting up again. Like, comment, and subscribe to our YouTube channel to join our next conversation.